prosecutor, when I had a case, I charged it not in the name of the victim, but in the name of the people. For a simple reason. In our system of justice, a harm against any one of us is a harm against all of us.
Last night, Vice President Kamala Harris became the first Black and South Asian woman to accept the presidential nomination for a major political party. And as the vice president took the stage, she saw a sea of female delegates wearing white, a nod to women's suffragists who fought and won the right to vote more than 104 years ago, this month. CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang is in Chicago covering this convention for us. Weijia, Harris made an effort to reach out to all voters last night. As part of those comments we just heard, she said Kamala Harris for the people. And yet in CBS News polling before the convention, it showed 36% of registered voters still don't know what she stands for. Was Harris able to effectively introduce herself last night?
I think so, Lindsay, and that's because she really drawed on her personal story. For starters, talking about her upbringing, talking about the effect that her mother had on her, and doing so with personal stories about her childhood and about what inspired her to go into law enforcement. And then she really touched on all the top election issues in this race, although, you know, it was only one speech. So, of course, she didn't get into the nitty-gritty policy details about what her vision is. But I've talked to aides who say this is not the time for that, and that will certainly come. But this was really a chance to speak directly to the American people. And to your point, she did. She specifically said, you know, I promise that, you know, no matter what side of the political aisle you are on, essentially, that I will fight for you. And so we know that she took great efforts to be involved in the speechwriting process. She was editing down to the wire, going through each line by hand. And so, you know, her campaign certainly believes that she was able to stick the landing. But the big question is, of course, what happens now?
And we will ask you that in a second, but we want to do some fact checking of Harris's speech last night. Let's start with what she said about Trump and the middle class.
He intends to enact what, in effect, is a national sales tax, call it a Trump tax, that would raise prices on middle-class families by almost $4,000 a year.
So our CBS News Confirmed team labeled that as partially true but needing context, saying Harris is citing an estimate of potential costs if former President Trump were to implement tariffs on imported goods. How are both of these campaigns selling themselves to middle-class voters, and what were some of Harris's strongest points on her economic record?
Well, first, to be clear, when Trump was in office, there was a tariff exchange with China, and that is a tax on imported goods that come from another country. And so that's what Harris is referring to, that there would be even more. But also, when the Biden administration took over, they did not roll back those tariffs. So, you know, the question is whether a new administration under Harris would add even more. But, you know, so far, these two candidates have both really made big promises to the middle class to cut costs. But again, very few specifics. Trump has talked about lowering restrictions, cutting restrictions on domestic energy regulations that he says could do a big lift for that. And you know, he's also talked about more tax cuts, although we don't know the exact plans. Harris, interestingly, has proposed a few ideas, Lindsay, but has not answered an important question of how she plans to pay for them. This includes $25,000 for first-time home buyers, as an example, a new child tax credit for $6,000 for families with newborns, and a host of others. But when she was specifically asked, you know, where's this money going to cost from, she said that all of her ideas that are specific to helping the middle class will pay for themselves, so they are an investment. So to answer your question, there's still a lot of holes to fill in because right now they're just trying to establish their platform and use more broader strokes to talk about how they promise they will help everybody.
Yeah, that was a particular gaggle response that sort of lacked the detail. I'm just saying she thinks it would be remiss if we didn't talk about the reinvestment part, but we still need more information about that. What is next? for the vice president. Do we know anything about her travel plans or where she plans to stump?
So right after the address, she actually spoke with reporters and said that she felt really good about last night, but it was time to move on to the next thing. She doesn't have anything on her schedule for this weekend, but we certainly anticipate next week she will hit the campaign trail again, because that's what she has been doing. She has very little time compared to a traditional candidate. She just became the nominee, the presumptive nominee, just over 4 weeks ago. And so I expect that she will be traveling a lot. And of course, preparing for the next big thing, which is a debate with Trump. And that is set to take place on September 10th. And so to be determined if she can, turn all the energy we saw during this huge party into, something substantive when it comes to changing minds or votes in November. But she'll be very busy, and so will we, Lindsay.
Weijia Jiang, thank you.